So the first thing we're gonna do, we'll have to read this.
Oh, that's right.
Our disclaimer. Well, like in Catholic Church, when one person stands up, you all go, I think it's time.
We all.
I feel like a good job.
All right.
The honorable Stephen.
The meeting's starting on a good note.
I come around more, Trooper, we have a good time. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Columbia Board of Selectmen to order, Tuesday, October 3rd, in the year 2023. This is a hybrid public meeting, the public, which some of them are here, or you can attend electronically. Please be respectful, put your inputs in to the Town of Columbia CT, public input at columbiact.org. Or raise your hand during audience of citizens. We'll be happy to call on you if we can see you there or here. State your name and address, and we will take your comments. Not all, none of them should be answered unless subject matter expert is here. We might be able to engage. Otherwise, it's just comments. And again, please be respectful, and we will too. Now, all right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So what am I gonna put?
In the approval agenda, just
I can add it where?
just right away.
All right. So, I'd like to move to approve the agenda with a addition. I see we have our resident trooper here. So I move to approve the agenda with the addition of introduction and a question period for our resident trooper. And that will be done before anything, so we can get her out on the streets. Any other, all those in favor? Thank you. Great, so
Trooper Christina Vivino.
Hi, nice to meet you guys. I know I've met some of you. I've been a trooper for about 14 years. I've been a resident in a previous town, for about 1.5 years. And I just recently was approved to start here, taking over for Justin Haggerty. I'm here, whenever you guys need me, you can reach out to me and I'll be glad to help in whatever way I can. Any questions for me?
So you reside in town?
I do.
Okay. Are you making quick communications available to like myself or the town manager? We all have cell phones and sometimes residents call me with a problem and stuff. I'd like to be able to get a hold of you.
Mhm.
Is that a problem?
No, so I have a cell phone through the state, that employees can get a hold of me. What I recommend though is a lot of times, depending on what the complaint is, sometimes it's kind of iffy, just to go right to the troop. And if I'm working, I will be dispatched immediately. And if I'm not, if it needs immediate attention, another troop will go out and I'll pick up where they left off. I just don't want things that are serious to not be addressed by me immediately. But anytime you reach out and I'll get back to you.
Okay. In addition to that, communication, now, if we have concern like on a weekday, Wednesday's very difficult on some roads because of traffic due to the town dump, to say the least, but if we see a lot of stuff that's going on, traffic, trash being spewed all over the road, you want us to go through the troop?
It all depends. If it's garbage, something like that, you can just go right to me. I mean, like sometimes there's iffy complaints from
Understand that.
people, and I just wanna make sure it gets addressed immediately. But no, if it's garbage complaints or,
Mostly speeding on certain roads.
yeah, even that, and also email's a good way, like speeding complaints, email is probably the best way. That way I can keep a record of what it is. And that's just my first last name at ct.gov. And anybody can reach out and email me there.
Okay, if we have a request about off hours, evening time on a one off or two off. Do you have availability for a fluctuation in your schedule?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if I have a little bit of a heads up, I can either adjust my schedule or just come in and just flex my time. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm here tonight, I'm not working. You know, I was actually gonna ask about different school events like trunk or treat and things like that, so I can be available for that. You know, whatever you guys need, if I can make it happen, I'll be there.
I know Deb, our rec director Debbie, is about to do a, let's see, walk through the park is it at night?
Yeah,
It's Halloween story time.
Story
Yeah, but
time.
that's just a regular, as people are walking through, it's not.
It's not a lot of people are gonna come to mass.
You
I
can
know
walk
that.
anytime you want for that. It's not,
Okay,
it's not.
it's a self-guided tour.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've also been in contact with her about other things. She asked me, like, she knows how she can reach me. She's already sent me emails about other events in town.
I'll tell you one complaint I got today. Someone in a kilt that drives a black vehicle twice has been seen digging for treasures in our soccer fields. So I rec park. So
in a kilt.
In a kilt. He was trying to blend in, I guess.
It's not so much that he's digging, it's when the wind blows and the kilt goes up.
So the person that sent the complaint,
Was he?
yeah,
He's metal
so he
detector.
claims he had permission from myself and the rec director. Neither of us have given him like permission to metal detect in
Yes.
town.
Do you need permission to metal
Yes.
detect?
Yes, you do.
Especially on historic sites. Yeah, Ingrid will be out in moments.
Well,
Joe.
Yes.
Anybody have any relevant questions at this point in time? Anthony, get your notebook out, we got a list. So listen, we've had in my time in town, a number of very good resident troopers. And, you know, we think very highly of the job that you do. We appreciate the job that you do and it's a good town. And anything you can do or need to do to keep it safe and the same, we got your back. I got no problem. So, and I think the board we're all on board with you. Okay, so the communication does go both ways. You have a concern, you have a need, something, please let us know.
Thank you, I appreciate
Okay,
it.
all right. Anything else, Trooper? Thank you, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. All right.
Bye.
Approval of the minutes. I move to approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes for September 19, 2023.
If he did have it.
What? They don't have it. You're back to this, right? You get minutes? All right.
Music turn. Yeah. Unless you want to do the. Roomba.
I would. So we need was like.
No. Next day.
Next 2 weeks.
Need any discussion? See anything? All those in favor of approving?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
We also have Superintendent Barbara Wilson is attending remote.
Audience of citizens. Hi.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Kincaid and I live on Pasco Shop Road and I'm with the Coalition on Justice and Equity. And there's just one error on the minutes. It said that the housing forum was gonna be on the 27th. it's the 24th, but you have something in your package, so you have the correct date. I just didn't want to maybe see the minutes and mark that on the calendar. So we hope that we'll see some of you there. Thank you.
That's on page 3. Top of the server.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the first one.
Yeah, oh, yeah, well, it's not the 27th,
It's the 24th.
24th, right, do that again, please. If you want to amend your,
No, I want to really make sure I'm there. Evening. Okay. Thank you.
amend your motion to correct the minutes. So they reflect the proper date,
All right, so how are we doing that?
just, amend your motion to include a correction on the affordable housing, October 24th in Hebron instead of the 27th. So move.
Excellent. And everyone in favor of amending the motion
Aye.
for the,
I didn't.
the minutes? Thank you. All right, good. Old business, non-new business, discussion of the proposed schedule for the timeline for the school HVAC air quality project.
What we had to do is work backwards. We have a grant application due in December. So working back, since this will be most likely a proposal over 500,000 in cost, it requires a referendum. So working backwards, trying to stay away from Thanksgiving, and Christmas, we were trying to do a referendum November 28th, which would mean you'd have to have a town meeting that would be adjourned to a referendum on November 14th. And then to have a tri-board meeting of Board of Selectmen, 5-pack and Board of Ed, we were thinking, at the meeting I had with Barbara, to do that on the Board of Ed night, which is November 6th. Prior to that, the HVAC building committee will get a presentation from Silver to make sure they're comfortable before we move it forward to a tri-board meeting on October 30th. And at HVAC and the Board of Selectmen would set the tri-board meeting, town meeting, and referendum, and all the dates at our next Board of Selectmen meeting, if we think this works tonight. So just tonight, we would do that on October 17th. Tonight's to decide, do these dates work for the board? No. I know you're not here on November 6th.
I'm not here on 10/30. I'm not here on November 6th.
So you're missing both those days.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been good to include that referendum with the election?
I know, I was thinking that, the timing just doesn't sound like it would work.
Yeah, and we couldn't, we're jamming in, just trying to do what we're doing right here. It's,
I don't like those kind of referendums being, this kind of money being spent, and this kind of thing. And it's bad, what do we get, 25% turnout for the municipal elections?
This may be well attended,
People, yeah,
because we're looking at big money.
I think it will be, well,
But I'm concerned about not being there for the presentation. I'm concerned about, I'm one person, but tri-board meeting.
if we were to move the HVAC meeting, what would work for you before or right after October 30th?
The 1st of November, 2nd of November, not the 2nd, I'm going the 2nd through the 7th. So the 1st of November, which I believe is a Wednesday. Prior to Saturday, Sunday, which is the 28th, probably Thursday, the 26th, let me look at my calendar.
Yeah, the 1st of November is a Wednesday.
Okay, the 26th, which is a Thursday.
26th is a Thursday. All October?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at October. Well, November 1st would give a little more time
So when do we have to get the application in?
So 12/31 is the deadline.
December 31st.
December 31st.
We'd like to be a little earlier, though.
25th, the 26th of October is fine for me. I'm here.
So you're good 25th, 26th, and November 1st,
Yes,
November 1st. What works best for you, Chris?
The 25th, I have commitments, so I guess the 26th, that's a Thursday.
I can do the 18th also.
That's getting pretty.
Yeah, I just don't know.
I don't know if it'll be ready. Barbara, what do you think works for you?
For me personally, I can do any of it. The
Okay.
Board of Ed next meets on November 6th.
Yes, that would be a normal, but you're not here on the 6th, right, Steve?
No, I return on
Isn't
the
November
6th.
Well, right, no, November 6th is a Monday,
That's a
right?
Monday.
That's a special meeting because the next day is election day, so
Right,
we
right.
don't have a board of selectmen meeting on the 7th.
Correct, we do not.
So we wouldn't have anything on schedule for the 6th of November unless. Special, right?
Want to look at it and get it out to her?
Yeah, do you wanna, we could poll the board, see what the board is. If everyone can make the 26th or November 1st. As
What day of the week is November 1st?
Wednesday.
That's a
That's a
Wednesday.
Wednesday, that's, yeah, a Wednesday.
So this is for the HVAC building committee. Get the first presentation.
So that would be the HVAC date, okay,
Would be the Silver Petrocelli air quality presentation to the HVAC committee.
right, okay.
So either October 26th or November 1st.
I mean, I'll throw it each day. My recommendation would be the first, at least it gives it an additional week
That's what I'm
to
thinking.
polish any presentation versus trying to.
October 20th.
Yeah, October 26th or November 1st.
Yeah.
So see if they're available for November 1st.
Okay,
That would be,
November 1st is available for me and for the board, if needed.
if I can ask of you, would this be in the school? If, I guess the question is Silver Petrocelli committed to coming in person for, and we'll have to ask them the dates, but I mean, were they gonna be here in person? Or if not, if the school couldn't support a remote meeting, would we need to have it maybe here? So I'll make sure I put the right form.
Barbara, didn't you think they were coming in person?
I thought they were coming in person, but if they're
We don't know
not,
about the new dates.
we can also support it at the school with like a laptop. It's not as fancy as your owl. But we could do it either place.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my only thought is if we had that option, you know, I would presume that maybe. If they can only send one person in person from Silver Petrocelli, but Bob Banner or some other support people, I think they may be, if we could have a Zoom link as an option or along with it, they might be able to support.
Our problem with November 1st is that an LMAC meeting?
Next in the conference room, but maybe we could move them.
Tell LMAC we're suspending the meeting.
Well, right now, we'll see if the school works, and if they're
Okay.
in person
Okay,
on
I
November.
mean, if she can do it through.
My
The
preference is.
school could definitely host the meeting. It's just not as high tech as your owl, but we can do it virtually and, a hybrid model.
You can always ask them that, you see some.
Right,
Yeah, they could.
Okay.
okay, Jim, I'll get this all figured out tomorrow. Right, that's all I have.
Okay. Presentation and creation of the Town of Columbia Garden Beautification Committee. That's, that one there.
Motion, if you want to go up to. Or if you want to hear from.
So I see all your names are on this. So. Can you, before I make a motion for this. What do you want to do?
So really, there's a group of 4 of us leading this charge, and our hope is to help beautify our town. I know our town maintenance guy, crew has been doing the fertilizer and trying to maintain plants. None of them are really gardeners. And so our hope is to actually just make different properties of the town look more appealing and more attractive. So I had actually put out on Everything Columbia to see if there was any interest in our town with people through volunteering. And I did get, I believe it was 23 people who said they loved the idea and they were very enthusiastic to do that. One of the volunteers is a mountain gardener. So we actually have walked, like the library is really one of the biggest areas in need of a little bit of an overhaul. Because stuff is overgrown and really have not, some things just aren't in the right place that they should be. And there's different places, and I also will work with Jim from the Lions Club, because I realize that the Lions Club actually does maintenance of the gazebo and the town center, where the sign is. So we would work in conjunction with him. It wouldn't take away from what the Lions is doing. We would do more with the planting, help design to make things just look more attractive and appealing at different areas throughout our town. The beautification is something that, seeing how things go, I do think a lot of us, and it's funny, I talk to every person who is volunteering, you know, driving through Hebron is doing a great job with, when you drive through their town, they have scarecrows out, they have the nice chairs out, they have the snowmen out, and our town kind of lacks any kind of really curb appeal, and so it may grow into being more, but it needs to start somewhere, so that's our hope.
Maybe asking for miracles, but anything you can do with the intersection of 6 and 66 would be appreciated.
No, you know, if you drive through North Carolina and South Carolina, they have, the sides of the highway are strewn with wildflowers.
Yeah.
And they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
They get tracks and different things. It is really pretty.
Yeah, our initial goal is to, and Millie Ramsey will continue to work with the Murphy House and Beach location gardens, and then the library gardens and the chapel garden, and then the gazebo and the center of town, and you know, and there will be plants, you know, we'll have people digging plants and that have lived their life, and it's time to move them and replace them with something more attractive. We have a goal of having something beautiful blooming in most seasons, and then have different leaves that give a different look in the winter months when nothing is blooming, as opposed to saying, you know, these big hydrangea at the library are beautiful. Well, they're beautiful for 3 weeks, and then they're horrible, and they overpower everything else that we have in there. So, you know, the goal is just to go in and get, we're gonna do a major cleanup hopefully on October 14th, if it's approved tonight. And then have people scheduled to do regular, just cleanup maintenance and work with Beth. We've already met with Beth, and she seemed pretty excited about getting some help from some people who know the gardening, know a little bit more about gardening than some of the public works employees, and the town will continue to do the mulching as needed, and they'll take away the debris, and then we'll, you know, see how it moves forward. You know, the goal is just to make things look sharper than they look.
And we also did talk to Mark and said initially, you know, we would need for next spring some money in the budget, because what we do take out, we would need to be able to put something in. You can't, you know, some perennials, people who are gardeners, we might be able to, if we put a list of things we're looking for, we might be able to get split and things like that, but really in front of the library, in front of the chapel, it really should be some shrubs that aren't, not that everything's just flowers.
Yeah.
So there are some things that would have to be purchased.
Good thing they talked to you, Mark. Write a check.
I didn't write a check. We just talked to him and told him that at some point, some financing is.
Well, I move to approve. I move to approve the adoption of the Town of Columbia Garden Beautification Committee. New discussion.
It's a no-brainer.
I appreciate that you went to Beth, the Department of Public Works Director. We'll try and do very little with them, won't we? They're very busy.
It was a good meeting, because we were very clear on trying to divide up responsibility.
Excellent.
It'll be a big help to everybody.
Sounds like a good idea.
All those in favor?
I just wanna ask, so it's a great idea from a liability perspective, if someone were to get hurt, is that usually on the town?
What kind of injury are you expecting?
We'll allow them to use.
You're not gonna be using chainsaw, it's a general question.
It's a great idea, I just.
Although I.
And if somebody gets hurt.
Or something.
The risk manager in me.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Have that, it, ladies.
We'll get that safety glass.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And we're gloved.
Actually, and wear safety glasses when you're prudent.
Yeah.
Serious, wear safety glasses. Know that first.
Poison ivy and the bees.
Yeah.
Okay, next is our request for the group code. Request to put a sign on the town green.
And Ron is the representative.
What? What is the, what do you want this sign to tell people or say to people when they read it driving by?
What we're hoping is that it just raises awareness that this was in our town, Mohegan land, and for people just to inspect that, especially in this month with Indigenous Peoples' Day, to just raise that awareness and honor the people who were here before us. This is a joint effort in code with the towns that we are serving. So Hebron and Marlborough have already agreed that they're gonna post to town, a sign that reflects their town's tribe. One will be in Hebron Central, one will be on Marlborough Green, and so we were hoping that Columbia would do the same.
I personally. I'm all for history. We learn from history, I hope. Smart people learn from history. People who aren't that smart, they ignore history and they repeat it. Okay? But the sign you have here can be taken, in my opinion, can be taken as a little inflammatory or argumentative. It's because it's in present tense. So much so I felt about this that I got a whole bunch of history on how this came to be Columbia. And I wanted to know, my question was, did we purchase it? Was it gifted? Did we steal it? Did we fight for it, defeat some? And I'm happy to say that it was granted to us by Oakham's son of the Mohegan tribe. So I'm happy about that. If the wording was, we are on indigenous land. All of the United States is indigenous land. I mean, let's be honest with you, I don't know who was here before the Native Americans were, but somebody was here. I just find it argumentative. If we said, you know,
Have you read the letter from, the email from Ingrid Wood regarding this? So this was,
I don't know,
so Ingrid Wood is our town steward.
yes,
Okay, so you
Yeah,
guys,
she shut that up.
she shot this out to Jen. And she said, so she wrote this in 2012 in chapter 1 of Images of America, Columbia. This entire area of eastern Connecticut was disputed by several pre-existing Northeast Algonquin-speaking tribes, specifically disputed with the displaced Nipmucks and perhaps the nearby Narragansetts and Pequots as well, who were unfriendly with the Mohegans. The Mohegans ultimately claimed these lands when the English showed up in the late 1600s, but we believe these lands were disputed. So she doesn't want this going up because you're gonna tick off all the other ones who think this is disputed land, the other tribes who are claiming that this was disputed. So,
and that's fair, and that's fair. You know, I think we're trying to, you know, we're feeling our way here, we're trying to do our research, obviously, we need to do more. So
you
that's
should
very
talk to this woman.
So, well, yes, in fact, we have, one of our members is, on the history committee and is going to be doing exactly that. We were delighted, to find that the town had an acknowledgement, a land acknowledgement. And we talked with Mark and Jennifer about having that more visible, because some of us have lived in the town for 35 years and just never were aware of it. So, you know, we talked and we were delighted to hear, you know, maybe it'll go on the website or, you know, places where it would be more visible to people. So I
It's
think,
going into views.
and is it also on the monthly?
yes.
Yeah.
So,
Which is great. So I appreciate what you're saying. Our intent was not to be inflammatory. Really, our intent was, it's Indigenous Peoples' Day this month, and we just wanted to raise people's awareness.
What
and
have you
think
talked
about
to
it.
people, the elders at the Mohegan tribe, would they think of something like this?
I don't know. I know that we have somebody in our group who's had communications with them, but I don't know specifically about this. So I can find that out.
I would wanna know what they're thinking, before we proceed, because, you know, how would they perceive it? I think it's about them, and somehow there should be that communication, I think.
Okay.
I mean,
In theory, I like the concept.
Well, and, you know, and I appreciate the dialogue, because, you know, we're not trying to just, you know, steamroll something through. Okay, this is a process where, you know, it's not that we didn't put thought into it, but we're trying to do something that would raise awareness. And this may not be exactly the way to do it, and we have some history to learn, so we will take that and go back and do that.
We don't know what the other tribes would say anything, but if there's that question.
No,
they could.
that's absolutely fair. It's a good point. So,
And I shared a similar concern about it, at least it could be construed as a present statement. I guess one other question I had as well, you know, my experience as far as a lot of the signage out in four corners has been more event based, right? I mean, if this had been a sign from code that said, hey, you know, please join us if there was an event at the library for, you know, presenting, you know, a program on Indigenous peoples, that would be great. I would be in full favor just that we promote all other social events. That's really, as I have experienced, has really been the purpose of science, is to, you know, communicate
Something
events, right? If it was a program, I think that would be.
yeah, if this said we were on indigenous land and underneath it said,
learn more.
learn more, attend this meeting
Right.
or attend this program, I'm all for that. I mean, I'm truly conflicted when I look at this sign. I get what you're trying to do. I mean, we were giddy when Dartmouth 250 and they were coming down to look at this, the building over here. We put money into that. The place looks great in the back and everything, but the bottom line is, I really, there's a part of me, and we represent all people. I can see people just not understanding what we are looking for you to do and us to learn about. So, that's my thought on this. So personally, I'm
I think
wants to make a motion, but
they have to do more homework.
Yeah, no,
Kind of to see what the perception would be. Again, in theory, I like what you're doing, but we think you gotta, kind of understand how it would be perceived.
no, this is all very, very helpful. I really appreciate the candor because this is very helpful to us. So thank you, and we'll definitely follow up.
Don't give up.
No, we're not giving up.
No,
But
don't
you're-
work with us.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing, work with us, we're,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So, thank you.
Nothing on the lake, no, how's the water level?
It's at 0 base level, so we just, shut the gate, it's at 0, and, I have one request based on, now that you just brought up the water level. We're supposed to open it up and over the month of November, drop it to 6 feet down. We're doing, the only time we could have a fish study, we're gonna study with a shock to count fish. And I think this is deep or somebody. It's part of our. They're doing,
You're not gonna be floating in the surface actually.
they'll just be stunned, they're going to count them and then they'll be back in some way.
They can't just use like a fish finder?
No, they want to identify, they're doing a inventory of fish. That's happening on November 2nd. They do this lakes all over Connecticut. It's part of.
And they've never done it here before, my thing is, why are we held deep,
They just want us to start lowering the lake on November 2nd after they're done with their study.
What time is it supposed to be done this year?
November 1st. They're asked us to delay it one day.
The first time this was done was in the South Pacific in World War II.
Oh, yeah, I saw that in the Philippines,
That's what they're doing,
That's not big
they're
fish.
hurting, never mind, that's a different.
No.
No,
Why don't they just go around and ask the fishermen what kind of fish they catch?
So they're trying to figure out how
Doing
many.
a scientific study. Jeff, do you have any more details on that? You don't know.
Salts in face.
Imagining.
they're going to.
All right, you know what, okay, we're not voting on this tonight. Can you get us the paperwork to take a look at this? Do we have recourse to say we'd rather not zap
Yes,
up fish?
at the next board second meeting, I'll have much more.
They're gonna zap, what are they
We're
do?
going to shock the fish so that they can
Tax dollar river.
They're gonna shock.
do a study,
So they float to the top and they can count what they are.
right, in a section of the lake.
This is my feeling, we're gonna shock fish.
I think those fish now.
Scientific study.
Why don't they just wait to the next fish kill on the lake and then we'll be fine. There'll be a fish kill.
I don't know.
I mean, is that how they determine catch limits for certain species of fish?
Maybe it's
Oh, it should be.
help of the lake.
See what's getting rare.
Can we also do the same thing with geese?
Except
told
really
you.
strong shock.
I told you they're delicious.
I knew this was having fun. Bring us back, please.
I will get you more
More
information.
information.
Remind
And
me.
who's the one who swings the device out
I don't
to the
know.
center and drops?
They sit in
Oh,
an
that's-
insulated rubber raft.
Oh,
Okay.
No, that seems weird.
Resignation of Stephen Harrington from Lake Management Advisory Committee. I'm sorry to see this. I had a conversation with Mr. Harrington. I think the Board of Selectmen has to probably talk to Lake Management or call them in and just get a revised mission statement or something, but that's, and I thought Stephen was pretty good on there and helped them out with checking the building of docks and fixtures and stuff on the lake. They did a pretty good job keeping people, in agreement and adhering to the code
Guidelines.
on the guidelines on the lake, so. Unfortunately, he's resigned. Town administrator's report.
Can I just ask Barbara, can you get us in writing, who's gonna replace Pacito?
What?
It's Leah Osborne.
Christine Pacito, cause,
No, it's Leah Osborne. She was supposed to send something.
we need it in writing
Yeah.
Yes.
from the Board of Ed.
What
I
happened?
I will do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, great, and then we'll put it on the next board select meeting. So, Pacito resigned from the Board of Ed,
No,
from the building committee.
right,
Building committee, and we have a replacement, because she was the Board of Ed representative on the building committee.
Right, and the charter requires a representative from the board, so, board of selectmen and board of ed.
So, we have a replacement, we just need it, and Barbara's just gonna email me who it is, and we'll put it on the next agenda. If Barbara wants to verbally tell us, and you wanna make it happen,
I will do it tomorrow. It is Leah Osborne who will be the new person on that committee.
Do it today?
Yeah.
I need,
so that's my motion.
I move that we appoint Leah Osborne to the HVAC committee.
Oh, any discussion? I think you gotta have one, she's, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
she'll be
Stepping
fine.
up.
Great,
Great,
okay,
thank you.
that's one thing left you have to do tomorrow. Okay, I just wanted to, make everybody aware that the fire department was awarded a volunteer fire assistance grant in the amount of $2,395. And they can use it, there's all sorts of purposes, that they can put it towards the fire department for training, water handling equipment, communications, prevention projects. So that is good news. And then, we also, through a grant through AHM, we received some signs, Just Breathe signs that promote smoke-free areas. We're gonna put them up, I think, at the Murphy House and at Rec Park. And it asks people not to smoke, vape, or do marijuana in those areas. And then, just as another positive note, James Young, who led the effort for Swim for Soup, to raise money, actually raised $7,995.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive. And that's positive.
What does that go to?
It goes to the senior center for both food and assistance.
With our senior center?
Yes. Yeah, so that's great, great news. And then I also want to make everybody aware, tomorrow at 2:20 PM, your cell phones will go off. And it will be a FEMA nationwide mobile alert test.
Nationwide.
Yes. So we're all gonna light up.
Wow.
You know,
Russia's
smoking
doing the
areas.
same thing.
What's that?
Russia's doing the same thing.
Well, I guess we are too.
I don't know if I like that.
That was really, I read this somewhere else.
I can see this being a best-selling movie in about 20 years, War of the Worlds.
Right?
Oh, when everybody panics, like what? the heck?
Everybody in the country's gonna get this?
Yeah, yeah. At 12:20. I don't know how the cell phone system can handle that.
I think it's rolling for like an hour.
I know.
I was reading a little bit, went on the FEMA website and read it. I'm like, this has to be a scoop, but it's not.
Wireless.
Correspondence, there's some articles in the Chronicle, Columbia prepares for hurricane season. Road race is Saturday, and then the road race brought 100 people to Rec Park. November 7th, municipal election. Trusted Public Lands thank you letter, how much did they raise?
What the,
About
so I don't.
2,500, $2,588.21.
That's more money than I've ever seen in a fundraiser. That's cool.
And housing for all, that's on the 24th in Hebron.
24.
Want to attend that? Okay.
Well, just to, everybody is aware that, the library just invited the board to meet Julie Stiles, the new library director, on October 27th from 2 to 4.
Okay.
So you're all right.
In relation to Harry's time.
I don't know. You have to ask that.
No, okay, we have no transfers, correct?
Correct.
Excellent. I move to approve refunds totaling $698.62. Any discussion? All those in favor of the refunds?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And I move to approve the payment of bills totaling $241,664.55, consisting of 23-24 emergency, 23-24 regular, Saxonby Little Library payment 2 of 4, credit cards and paychecks.
How's the lake health, vital claims and,
We're gonna get a whole report on this. It'll be in the annual report. Happening together.
You went to the CCM Drug and Alcohol Consortium? Is that what this is?
Or is that our, drug testing for the, CDL?
I have no idea. The consortium. Wow.
CCM drug and alcohol.
I think that's our program, price for that. The program.
Right, I think it's drug
Yes.
testing.
For training.
Anybody have any questions, discussion? All those in favor of paying the bills? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. You went to the session?
Yeah, just real quick.
You have audience to say something.
Yeah, I'm just. Audience and citizens.
Yeah, one, three, Lake Road. I have a question about the grant that the fire department was awarded. It's a forestry grant, so.
Is that the one I announced, or are you talking about the
Yes,
one?
no, it's the one you announced.
That's the one.
Okay. So,
Fighting forest fire.
funds can be used for training, water handling, equipment, communications, prevention, project safety, supplies, suppression gear, and other related items.
and it's from deep.
My guess is it sounds like a lot of things that can be used in firefighter, forestry. Or,
And my guess is, I'll bet you this is one of these grants where they give every fire department a portion of a total lot of money, because it's not a lot of money. 2,295, so my guess is there was a pot, they divided up between all fire departments, and they want it used for these areas. That's my guess.
Thank you.
I'm sure you probably have to apply as well.
no hands on the. And, board member comments?
I actually have two. I have two, so we had they were asking for us to take over West Street Cemetery, or West Cemetery, West Street. And the more I think about it, so one of the reasons we moved into this town, so this was way back in 91. A, we could afford it, because we have an affordable town for a family with 4 kids. And one of the things that was really attractive was in the center of town, there was a thermometer thing and there was donations and can drive and everything for the place game.
All right.
And it was like, they didn't do that in Winslow Locks, you know, government wrote a check. And so to have civic organizations that do this kind of thing, and you had said that the cemetery was was a private organization from the 1800s, late 1870s, if I recall. And I'm thinking, what a shame if that becomes town, if that becomes just another public entity that nobody has passion for. So I would love to see the cemetery go and try to enlist some younger people. They're gonna die too, and hopefully they're gonna die here and they're gonna want a place to get buried. So put it in Facebook, at least try before we just take it over. At least try to get some new young blood to take over your job. Because being a treasurer really bites. And just, let's try to get some new blood and keep that as a private, I think it's amazing that it's private. That cemetery, it's not associated with a church, right? It's not, it's just its own cemetery. Anybody can get behind it. I think that's great. And I'd love to see it stay private. And then the second one is, have we done anything about the water at the school? With 52 inches of rain on my rain gauge for the year, most of which came in since June. Is that water, that well, did they do anything about drainage around the school?
So we have Silver Petroselli doing tests this week and they've been looking at all the water. And it is a good time because of all that rain, but they're doing 3 different tests to show if or if not, there is groundwater. That is a problem.
Thank you for that. I'm glad we could come. It was good that you were here.
I heard so, no. Not so. Judy, anything?
You would have known that too. Okay, good.
So at this time, I'd like to suspend the Board of Selectmen meeting and move into executive session
For
and
personnel reasons,
for personnel reasons.
at 7:52 p.m. And I would invite
Invite Martha.
yeah, unless you want to stay.
Might go home.
Good night, Barbara.
We could
Bye-bye.
extend the invitation if you want.
Yeah.
Adjourn executive. We will resume our Board of Selectmen meeting. There was no action or votes during executive session, so at this point in time, we make the motion, we adjourn the Board of Selectmen meeting. All those in favor? All right.
7:56.